Hi, I'm Ryan with MapleMeeple.com, and today we're reviewing Abyss. Maple Meeple reviews Abyss. This game is designed by Bruno Cathala and Charles Chevalier, beautifully illustrated by Xavier Collette, published by Bombyx and Asmodee Games. It's 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up. It takes about 45 minutes to play. Sometimes it can take an hour depending on how much analysis paralysis kicks in with some players. Like I said, it's very beautifully illustrated. That's probably the biggest thing that popped out to me right away of this game. The art is just wonderful. It's very thematic. The art really pulls you into the gameplay. And with that, why don't we take a look at it? And here we have the board for Abyss. As you can see already, there's some nice artwork. This represents essentially a royal court. We have the court track down here. We have the council of the 5 sea races here, and we have the depths of the ocean up here. The basic theme of the game is you are a sea creature who is vying for the monarchy, and you will need the support of these 5 races in order to curry favor from the people in the court. We have a deck of Lord cards that fill up the court that are for purchase. They have victory points on them, they have a cost, some of them have these key symbols, and they all have a special ability that activates at a certain time. We also have the ally deck, which is these sea creatures. They all have a different value on them, and obviously they're all different colors. And you can see already with these cards that I've laid out how nice the art is. They really did a good job on the art. Like I said, it really draws me in. The ally deck goes here, and the depths. There is a monster track, because when you're swimming in the depths you might encounter a monster. And there's a token to track which benefit you get when you fight the monster. In addition to the keys that are on some lords, you have some cardboard key tokens, nice and thick and durable. You've also got monster tokens that you can get as rewards for fighting the monsters. You would pick from those at random when you would get them. Your currency are pearls. One thing I'm not so hot on is the pearls. They look great, they feel nice, it's very thematic, but you drop one, it rolls off the table, you've spent a little bit of time trying to find them. It's a little annoying, but they're still cool. And then there's a location deck of locations under the sea that you can procure throughout the game. Now, on your turn, you would go through 3 steps. The first step is optional. You can plot at court, basically refilling any empty spaces at the cost of pearls. Then your second step is to take one of 3 different actions. You can do what's called exploring, and that's when you would search the ally deck. You would be flipping these cards in order, and every time you flip a card, you would have to offer it to the next player in a clockwise rotation. If they wanted it, they could pay you a pearl to acquire it, and you would give them the card, and then you would keep going, offering it to each player in succession. If nobody wants it, then it just stays there, and you flip another card. In this deck, you might encounter, as we talked about before, a monster. In that case, you have to decide if you want to fight it or not. If you fight it, you automatically win, getting the rewards next to wherever the monster token is. If you choose to flee, then you just keep going with your turn, and the token would move down, making the rewards better. Somebody else might get those rewards. Any of these ally cards that are left over, sitting here, when your turn ends, would get flipped upside down and placed into the council. The second action you're allowed to take as your turn is to request help from the council. That means taking an entire stack from one of these 5 spots, and that stack would go into your hand. Your hand size is unlimited. There might be some Lord cards that might affect that throughout the game, but other than that, you can hold as many of them as you want. The third thing you're allowed to do as your turn is spend whatever ally cards you have in your hand to procure a Lord. That Lord would come into your play area, and you would gain all the benefits. Your end step for your turn is not optional. You have to do this if you can. If you've collected 3 keys, either with tokens, with your lords, or a combination of the two, you have to take a location. And there are multiple locations in this location deck. They all have different ways of getting points at the end of the game. And the one unique thing about these is that if you are using a lord that has a key on it in order to take a location, and remember you have to if it's available, the lord slides under the location and you are now no longer allowed to use its ability. So you kind of have to plan when you're collecting keys and which lords you're buying that have keys. There's a little bit of that strategy element to it. And that's the game. You just keep going around doing these steps on your turn until either this deck runs out and you can no longer refill the court, or until someone has purchased their 7th lord. At the end of the game, they've provided you with a nice little score pad in order to count your points. You get your points for your locations, you get your points for all your lords that you've acquired, you get points for allies, you get points for any monster tokens that you've collected. Tally it all up, highest score wins. And that's Abyss. I really enjoy this game. Like I said, the art is amazing. It really draws me into the whole story. Being able to use my allies to influence the lords and curry their favor, draw them to my side. I think it's, like I said, very thematic. It feels like there's a story there. I like the mechanic of placing the lords underneath the location so that their abilities aren't used once you use them for the key if they have one on them. It really gives you the sense of wanting to balance which lords you get, which rewards you go for on the monster track, which is another strategic element. Do I fight the monster? Do I flee from the monster? If I flee, the rewards will get better next time. I might encounter another monster on this turn. I might not, which might leave it open to the next player encountering a monster and getting those better rewards, but it might come back around to you and then you could get the better rewards. And you just have to decide how far down you want to push it. There's a lot of good elements to this game. I highly recommend it. So thanks for joining us. If you feel like it, check out all the rest of the content on maplemeeple.com. If you liked what you saw, feel free to give us a like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.